In this episode, I want to take a quick look at some of my personal favorite unique and creative weapons in anime. Mind you, this isn't a definitive list of the best or most creative, but it's a few I thought of and wanted to go over with what makes them stand out. Got a favorite weapon from an anime? Want me to go over it in a future follow-up to this video? Let everyone know down in the comments below. Well, let's get right into it, shall we? Kicking this thing off, I want to begin with my personal favorite character in anime. It's Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter and his Nin chain. Forged through his mastery of the Conjuration Nin category and set of limitations, see my Waves Anime Analysis episode 1 for more info on Nin and what it is. This weapon was tailor-made for revenge on the criminal organization which slaughtered his hometown. 5 chains are formed, each would serve a specific purpose. Thumb, the Holy Chain, allows Kurapika to heal wounds through the use of Conjuration and Enhancement Nin. The healing factor is amplified even more when he taps into his expertise in the Specialization category. In my personal opinion, this makes Kurapika hella broken. Imagine a fusion of Deadpool and Wolverine's healing factor, well, maybe not that OP, but definitely close. Moving along, we got the Ring Finger, Dowsing Chain. Utilizing his mastery of Conjuration, Kurapika uses this chain as if he were Shinichi Kudo. This allows him to do a bit of detective work and find locations of missing people, determine whether or not someone is lying, as well as many others. A situational ability at best, it still proves useful from time to time. Next up is the Middle Finger, the Chain Gel. One of the chains designed to be specifically used on original members of the Ryodan, it's almost impossible to break free from. Effectively shutting down a user's Zetsu, their aura is very restricted, any member of the troupe will be highly suppressed. If used on anyone other than a member of the Ryodan, Kurapika will perish due to the limitation he put on himself to use this ability. The Index Finger chain has been revealed to be the Steel Chain. This chain was recently revealed and allows Kurapika to sort of borrow Nin abilities from enemies. Using the syringe on the end of the chain, Kurapika stabs the body of his opponents and drains their aura, putting them into a state of Zetsu and takes one of their abilities. And lastly we have Littlefinger, the Judgment Chain. The ultimate attack of sorts for Kurapika, this chain is used by piercing the heart of the enemy as well as himself and setting an ultimatum for the both of them. Kurapika gives the victim an order as well as himself and, if violated, whether it be him, the enemy, or both, the blade on the end of the chain will instantly kill them.
Finish him.
One of the many reasons I absolutely adore Hunter x Hunter, it's imagination such as this that really makes the series stand out amongst most typical shonen manga/anime. Next up we have Sawageijo Cho of the Jupan Katana from Rurouni Kenshin. Not a very standout character on his own, it's his weapon, the Haku Gno Tachi, or thin-bladed sword, that makes him stand out. A blade extends himself, with the flick of a wrist, this weapon performs as if it were a whip. One of Araishaku's renowned blades, it's now found its way into the hands of one of Shishio's goons. Hidden in plain sight, Cho wears this weapon as a belt until he eventually uses it after the Renbato goes the way of the dodo after Kenshin destroys it. He used it quite fashionably too. Who needs Fendi when you have an accessory like this? Anyone can see what makes this weapon a unique one based on appearance alone. Seemingly light as a feather, Cho controls it easily due to the weighted tip of the blade. Utilizing this weapon with much precision and flexibility that even Kodachi Kuno from Ranma would be proud. He definitely gives Himura a battle he'll never forget. How can he defend against such an onslaught without the Sakabato? Fantastic creation for a weapon to be featured in a samurai-centric manga, this one is for sure one that fans will remember for ages. Now here's a really cool one. The catalyst that brought forth the blast of the Astral World and Berserk is Skull Knight's Yobimizu no Tsurugi, or the Healer's Sword. Known as the Sword of Actuations in the official translation, it's the byproduct of Skull Knight's attempt to one-up David Blaine by not only devouring his Sword of Thorns, but also having it react with his many gobbled behemoths, creating this divine saber that rivals even Kurobaro's Dimension Sword. A blade that can cut through time and space itself? Yeah, this is quite the piece of craftsmanship. It's only right that one of the most badass characters in existence is in possession of it. Guts' Dragon Slayer might as well be a Gensu knife in comparison. Not that there's anything wrong with Gensu, hey, they were the ish in the 80s. While we haven't seen too much of this weapon, From what we speculate is that it has quite a lot of potential. It freaking contributed to the creation of the world of Fantasia, but maybe this was all part of causality. Has this happened before? Has the Sword of Actuations existed in the time prior? What do you think? Oh, Berserk makes my head hurt. Next, please. One Piece. A series where Oda's limitations of characters' powers are only limited by his imagination due to devil fruits having damn near infinite possibilities. As a character with none of that. Nami, the staff-wielding navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates, wanting to provide herself with a better way of protecting herself, asks for help from Usopp to modify her original bow staff. It eventually becomes the Comet Act. Hilariously, due to a bit of misunderstanding on Usopp's part on exactly what she wanted this weapon to be, he designs it with the intent on it being a cheap gag prop for parties and such. Does this guy realize just how much he put her life in jeopardy with this simple screw-up? Coming in 3 different flavors, we've seen the Comet Act evolve quite a bit. First we have the base Comet Act. Separated into 3 segments, the staff can now produce 3 types of elemental bubbles. Cool Ball, which cools the surrounding air, Heat Ball, which is the polar opposite of the former, and the Thunder Ball, which electrifies air. Using many combinations of these effects and other impractical uses of the Comet Act, Nami can now do many different things with it. Not really designed for battle usage, Nami quickly realizes that the tricks Usopp put into this thing will easily get her killed. Until she gets a bit creative and uses the weapon's flaws to her advantage. Effectively using Cool, Heat, and Thunderballs together, she creates one of her signature attacks, Thunderbolt Tempo, to fry Miss Doublefinger. Still not enough to take her out, the Comet Act has one last use, the Tornado Tempo. Only to be used in dire situations. This attack extends 2 doves from a T-shaped Comet Act to wrap around her opponent, spinning them rapidly and soon sending them hurling into oblivion. Next up is the Perfect Comet Act. A more battle-suited version of the original, this upgrade does mostly the same thing as the previous, just amped up a lot. Due to the implementations of spare dials the Straw Hats had after the events of Skypiea, this one is a force to be reckoned with. Its ultimate use lies in the power of the Thunder Lance Tempo. Let's just say Ino will be quite impressed with the use of this electrifying attack. And lastly, we have an upgrade to an upgrade. The Sorcery Comet Act. Using what she learned on the island of Witheria, she upgrades her weapon tenfold. Still resembling the Perfect Comet Act, it was eventually upgraded further in the 2-year time skip by both Usopp and Frankie. Now it's a shorter single orange and white staff that can extend greatly. Think of the Niobo from Dragon Ball. This thing is insane. Having a living thundercloud living inside of it, the Comet Act is now borderline broken. To make a long story short, Nami and her mastery of weather-based attacks are now at an all-time high. With powers that make enemies believe that a Yonko is using abilities to this degree, can the Comet Act get any more powerful? One Piece is coming to a close soon, so only time will tell if this is the final evolution of the Comet Act. Here's a random fun fact for you. Oda initially designed the character that would eventually become Nami to wield an axe. Huh, who knew? Next up we have Sango from Inuyasha in her Raikotsu, or literally, the flying bone that returns. Okay, I know this isn't that creative, but this is my list, damn it, and I think it's really neat. The Hiraikotsu is a giant demon-slaying boomerang crafted from purified demon parts. So, does this mean it's reinforced as she wrecks baddies with it? Admittedly, I don't really like Inuyasha to begin with. But the character of Sango and her mutagen exposed boomerang always stood out to me whenever I watched the series. A very unconventional weapon for sure. She still utilizes it with expertise, even able to throw it. Mind you, this thing weighs at least 50 pounds with one hand. Having sacrificed the Hiraikotsu to the bone demon and her father, what was left of the Hiraikotsu was repaired by both Sango and the Yakurudosuken. Having her go into a jar where he dissolved the remains of the Hiraikotsu, Sango faces off against the demon she's slain over time, and they once again become one with the newly formed weapon. Now, stronger than ever, the Hiraikotsu emits demonic energy, which I think is really cool. Well, that's all for today. I'll definitely do another video focusing on unique weapons from various anime and manga for sure. If you all have any suggestions, please let me know some of your favorites. Anyways guys, it's been fun. I'm out. See you all next time.